Hey guys, it's Tricky Nick here. While it isn't uncommon for video games to reference other forms of media, it's pretty jarring to see such a family-friendly company mention something like Friday the 13th, which is notorious for gore and nudity. So without further ado, let's look at some of Nintendo's most blatant horror references in their Mario games. If we head up to Floor 8 of Luigi's Mansion 3, we find ourselves in the Paranormal Productions, which is the site of our first horror movie reference. In the horror set of Paranormal Productions, Luigi must place a bucket into the well, and if you turn the camera on while Luigi is on set, you learn how to make a 17-year-old piss themselves. Aw, not again! While scary on its own, the fact that this jump scare comes from a movie titled The Ring makes it even more bone-chilling. In the movie, a young girl that bears striking resemblance to the puppet in Luigi's Mansion 3 is depicted climbing out of a well, then climbing out of a TV, only to kill the person witnessing all this. This also explains why the mode of transportation throughout this floor is climbing through televisions. Come to think of it though, this also kinda looks like the television in the 1982 movie Poltergeist. Wasn't that a good segue? That's right, this floor of the hotel is a buy one get one free for horror references. While Poltergeist is a much more tame movie, only boasting a PG rating, it is still a horror movie, and plus, the MPA didn't have a stick up their butt at the time, so it was still relatively scary for a PG movie. If we head on down to the Boiler Works of the last resort, we'll reach a sewer where a particularly iconic balloon is found floating in the sewers. Oh, it's John Wayne Gacy! In all seriousness, this is very obviously a reference to the It movies. If you need more evidence than just that silly balloon, we can triple dip and head back up to Paranormal Productions and see that when we get back up to the fire set, bubbles float up from the sewer drains in reference to the famous line, "You'll float too." Also, I mean, E.T. is there too, but he's not in a horror movie, so he can burn in the nether for all I care. Just kidding, the guy's on my desk, I love him. Well, the opportunity for a Shining reference was very ample in Luigi's Mansion 3. Nintendo did squat with it. Luckily, in Super Mario Sunshine, Nintendo did manage to reference the Shining novel. That's a technicality! The Phantom Manta in Episode 1 of Serena Beach is said to be the cause of the disappearance of the hotel in this area. And when its salmon-colored silhouette passes through the hotel, it directly correlates to the following line in The Shining. This is further cemented by the fact that when Mario shoots water at the large silhouette of the manta, it disperses just like in the book. But of all the ways Nintendo could have referenced The Shining, they really had to choose one obscure line from the novel? It really just doesn't make any sense. That's like using David Hasselhoff to reference the SpongeBob movie. But the weird references get weirder and more obscure when we look at Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. The machine-made version of the character Mac uses the line, "Mario, I'm back!" which is in reference to the main tagline of Poltergeist 2, that being, "They're back." Okay, this one is totally a major stretch, but I'm gonna move on before I realize how unlikely this actually was to be a reference to Poltergeist 2. Wait, this is total bullshit. Of all the random knowledge I have about Mario games, I think the most useless fact I have is this one-time Paper Mario Color Splash referenced The Exorcist. In the Indigo Underground area of the game, the character known as the Shun Guy turns backward as horror music plays, mirroring the scene from The Exorcist where a possessed patient does the same. That's about all there is to it. Sadly, no exorcisms are required to proceed through the game, and there's no other references. Super Mario Land 2, along with being one of the most underrated Mario games, has one of the most blatant references to a huge horror franchise. In the Pumpkin Zone of the game, Mario comes in contact with an enemy sporting a hockey mask with a knife through it. If this didn't already set off the Jason Voorhees alarm in your head, the name of this very Friday the 13th looking enemy is literally Jason. They'll never notice this one. Seriously, how did Nintendo get away with this? This enemy is very clearly ripping off Friday the 13th, which is pretty hypocritical considering how strict Nintendo is with their IPs. I mean, you let your 5-year-old son draw Mario in his art class and he's got a cease and desist at the door. At the same time though, it's cool that such an obscure Mario title has such an iconic reference in it. I mean, Jason Voorhees and Mario in the same game, that's so surreal. And that's all the horror media references in Mario games. You're welcome? It certainly is weird to see an Italian plumber get mixed in with such things as a machete-wielding, hockey mask-wearing serial killer. Luckily, those things don't exist in real life. Oh god! A machete-wielding, hockey mask-wearing serial killer!